how special it is to be here. And I love the topic of the month, which is the power of emotion. I don't think there's ever been a time where it's the most important focus for us, because all emotion comes from the heart space. And it's through you allowing the sacred design of yourself to unfold through your heart, to unravel the depth of emotion that's within you, that you are holding within yourself. And then as you unfold and unravel the essence of that depth of emotion that is part of your human aspect, a very important part of your human aspect for this lifetime is the understanding and knowingness of your own vulnerability and your own emotion that is within your own heart. To know your heart and to claim that emotion that's in your heart. Often we think that of love being, and joy being the emotions that we want to have, and yet we hold the hate, the anger, the intensity also within our hearts. They live side by side. And as our human ego mind likes to make one more than another, that we desire to feel the love and the light and the joy and the compassion, and we don't like those darker, shallower emotions of hate and fear and the anger. We've been taught they are not good, and these are good and these are bad. But the fact is, one is not more than the other. The hate has an energy, a really powerful, creative form of energy, that when it's felt and expressed cleanly through your heart, you get an upliftment, a liberation, as you get to express the very depth of your heart, the depth of the feeling inside yourself. It's passionate. It's alive. And so we've been taught to push all these down and make hate undesirable, actually not even to be able to be spoken. Hate. Oh my gosh, that word, hate. And rage. Not just anger, rage. But that energy, that essence of that rage that comes up has such a creation element to it. And so what we're being asked to do is not to discern and make ourselves good or bad for the feelings we have, but to honor and cherish the life force that is involved in the energy and the essence of those deep emotions. Yes, joy, beautiful, beautiful. But hate also has its own evolution within us that supports our creation energy. You see, we believe that our emotions are who we are, but they don't define us. They don't define you. They actually are just something that's inside of you that needs to be expressed. And so you don't even need to have a reason for the feeling of hate. It's just something that's there, that's inside of you that needs to come out. The same with the anger and the rage. It might be from another lifetime, and one event triggers that depth of emotion in you, and you get shocked by it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is shocking. But it's not about pushing it back down. It's about allowing yourself to be kind of enveloped by it. Like, allow it to just be you, and you be it for a little while, and allow yourself to go into the darkest, deepest part of yourself, like a raging animal. You can do that, and as you do that, you get in touch with the creation element, because where you suppress the rage, where you suppress that deep anger, that deep hate, you also suppress the joy. Everything gets pushed down. And so you're living kind of like a monotone existence. You're never joyful, but guess what? You're never into that rage either. And so to allow the rage, to allow the depth of it just to come up, and you just become that, it's like many of us are afraid that once it comes up, it will stay there and you'll just be this rageful person, this crazy person. You'll become insane with it. But actually what does happen is when you allow that rage to move all the way and you feel the very depth of it and it moves all the way through you and you express it fully, you come out the other side into a peace, into a new place within yourself. And your heart, which has been holding that rage, it's inside the heart. Your heart begins to open, almost like a bud of a flower. The petals start to loosen, and your heart can hold that creation frequency, that creation energy that you are, the God consciousness element. But while you carry that deep anger, that rage, and won't allow that expression of it, that divine expression, it's part of you. It's not separate. It's part of you in the moment, just in the moment while you're expressing it. But it creates almost like a wind to blow through the heart, clearing that density and allowing you to be set free, to liberate yourself. So it's about letting go of your judgment of yourself. How many of us in our lives all of a sudden get really enraged, just angry? For the smallest thing, we lose it. And that's that part that we don't like about ourselves. We go, oh my gosh, here again, I've been trying to hold it and do it differently and not to get angry and not to get enraged. But here it is again in my face. It's because you can't pretend and push it down forever. And with the energy on the planet now, guess what? We're kind of like getting more explosive more easily because the energy of the light is coming and that density in the heart is starting to easily flow up and flicker through us. So it's about understanding you're not your anger. It's just an expression. You're not your rage. It doesn't define you. It's just an expression in the moment of being alive, of being real or being authentic, of being vulnerable. You see, emotion, when we feel it, especially what we would call the shadow side emotions, leave us feeling incredibly vulnerable. Like somehow we could just break. But it's the heart action that you're feeling. It's your vulnerable heart which carries the light. You start to glimpse it more when you allow some of that denser energy to express itself. And you don't have to express it to another human being. You don't have to pour your anger into a person that's standing there. You don't have to do that. You can speak your truth and say, you know what, that makes me really angry. What you just said, I don't like. It makes me angry. But it doesn't mean you have to, target that rage at them. No. It's coming up from old experiences built up over time. You make one layer, then you put another layer and another layer and another layer and another layer. You swallow your anger, you swallow your rage, you smile when you're angry, and it just builds. Okay, layer upon layer upon layer until you become an explosive unit. But you're holding it all in. And the energy it takes to suppress all that feeling, all that emotion, that you're tired. By 9 o'clock in the morning, you're tired. Because you're pushing it all down, you're holding it all in. So this is our time to become, giving ourselves permission to allow the anger, the rage, to just let yourself breathe and feel it. Just think back to a situation that you've had recently that makes you really angry. all you have to do is go back to that moment to start loosening it up, and you can go right back into the experience of the anger or the rage that maybe you weren't comfortable with in that moment, but maybe you make the choice now to go back and to let yourself start opening it up. There is no such thing as time, so you can link back to the moment that rage was there, where you swallowed it down, and you can just go right back into that and start giving yourself permission to allow the energy that's caught in your heart to be released. And this is about your self-acceptance of your humanness. We know we're perfectly imperfect as a human being. We constantly have that imperfection interacting through our own lives. And it's really one more thing if you're trying to suppress your anger and you feel really uncomfortable with your anger and your rage, and you condemn yourself when you just kind of lose it. Here I go again, and you feel bad about yourself. When can I stop this anger? You stop it the moment you accept it and allow yourself to go fully into that space of that emotion. And you just allow yourself, give yourself permission, the space for that authentic interaction with yourself. This is about your own self-authenticity, of really meeting those pieces of yourself that are angry, that are suffering actually inside. This is about your own inner suffering. And while you keep it all suppressed, there's depression that comes. Depression is the suppression of anger and fear. And a lot of anger and rage has a fear base. So when something happens, examine what it is that is triggering the fear. What has just happened that makes you so afraid inside? And start exploring that emotional content of the heart space. You see, our hearts are where we create from. As a human being and as a spiritual being, the heart is the container of our true expression of our power or powerlessness. We are powerless when we can't allow those emotions, those deep-seated emotions, to be expressed. It keeps us suppressed, and we can't receive that joy. We can't really feel the fullness of the joy. We stay very safe in this monotone existence. But as we allow this container of the heart to express itself, to honor and accept that human part of ourselves, to allow the expression of the love that is the sacred part of ourselves to come through, the power of love transforms. It transforms us, and it transforms the way we are in the world. We bring the love to ourselves first. We can't just take love to others without bringing it to ourselves. And part of the love is allowing ourselves to express the depth of our emotion. And as I said, it's much easier to be light and love and joy and to keep that shadow side hidden. But we need to save ourselves, to liberate ourselves, to take ourselves off the cross, to resurrect ourselves by honoring the depth of our anger, of maybe that rage, of that hate, and really allowing the unfolding of our sacred hearts to take place. It's then when you start expressing those deep feelings of hate or rage or anger, you're going to find that light starts to fill your heart. You start to feel a depth of love for yourself, a depth of appreciation for that human element that's been in the suffering, that's been holding to the anger and the rage and the pain and the fear. So it's about coming home to ourselves, I love the Pleiadians when they say, you are who you've been waiting for. I mean, that's the truth. We've been waiting for ourselves all along. We've been looking outside ourselves for so long. But it's you who you've been waiting for. And it starts with you in your human element, reaching inside to yourself and being willing and having the courage to allow that anger to surface and those deeper shadow side emotions, and accepting that self-acceptance of your human state, of feeling the depth of the pain from the past. We all have pain from the past. Maybe rage of being betrayed. You know, that betrayal is placed in our lives. We're the creator of our own reality, so that we start to feel what's already inside of us, that rage. So we get betrayed again. We go, why is this always happening to me? And you feel a victim, but we're not victims of our own creation. We create the situations and the effort for us to get in touch with the depth of the shadow inside the heart, the deep emotions. It's important. Remember, there's a saying where it says there's hate and love are almost the same thing. It's very, very close. And that's so true. Because when you allow yourself to feel the depth of hate, that very intense moment of emotion, it's like the depth of agony. You know, when you're in such agony and you go to that, you let yourself go to that point of being in agony, it's almost exquisite if you let yourself go right into it. It's the same when you express the depth of hate, you come out the other side into the love. And it's the love for the self, for you as a human being, your own loving expression of yourself that starts to open through your heart. Our heart is a tool. It's a receivership tool. It's also a tool, once the emotions start to be felt in the depth, that it can be a creation tool. We are here to use this tool of the heart to align, yes, back to our sacred nature, but also as a creation tool of receivership for ourselves, for the human part of ourselves and the sacred part of ourselves. They meet in the home space of the heart. And so as you align, as you move through the energy of your depth of your emotion, you feel the true power of your creation element. You start to feel the energy of that power rising up in you, and you link into that creation energy. We all have this creation element. Every one of us. We don't need anyone else's abundance. We have our own to link into and to open up to. So that we don't just create experiences in order to learn. We're now moving into a new way of being where we start to create our own abundance with this new energy of our heart. Our heart is our creation tool. And as you align to the depth of the emotion and open into the essence of the love, the power of your own love is your creation force. And the power of your own love heals. It self-heals, yes. It feeds your cells. It brings a new nutrition right through the cells of your own body. While you stay trapped with your old dense emotions hidden inside, you're a prisoner. You're a prisoner, and the cells in your body start to get depleted because of the lack of energetic flow that's happening in your body through those held-in emotions. But the opposite happens when you start linking into those emotions and you start to feed yourself, nourish yourself. This is self-resurrection. This is what we're to do here in this lifetime, is through the power of our emotions, we start to link in and channel through that creation element of creating and receivership. And allowing that love, that pure force of love that we all are authentically. We are authentically that. To feed the human aspect of ourselves and bring ourselves back to a balance within our human element as well as linking into the spiritual, that we are naturally multidimensional beings. This is part of our plan, part of the Pleiadian plan for the earth plane at this time. That we evolve. This is our evolution. But it's about us, and it's not about anything else. We can't get sidetracked on saving the earth or saving this group or saving that group. It takes us away from ourselves. And what are we feeling in this moment of time? What is it that you're feeling right now? Are you willing to come into the moment and just feel, what is it inside of me that I'm feeling right in this moment? And just receive that feeling authentically. Who am I in this moment? Am I lost? Am I afraid? Am I anxious? You know, who am I? What am I in this moment? And receive yourself in the moment. That's the beginning of being authentic with yourself. And not thinking, all right, I'm okay. Everything's joy, everything's light. I'm okay. But inside, you're desperate. And it does take courage to touch on those emotions, that desperation, the suffering, the aloneness, the betrayal, the rage. And you can hate someone without doing them any harm. The hate you carry is harming you only, not the person that you're feeling the hate for. Hate eats you up. It breaks you down. Same with the drama of the intensity of that energy. It doesn't support your well-being. You cannot thrive holding that deep inside yourself. And you may get shocked by what you find inside of yourself. You go, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I could hate someone. Hate? But there it is. And so you bring your awareness to it, you breathe it, and you explore the depth, the dark energy of that, the intensity of it. Because you'll find the intensity of that energy is so alive. It's alive. Feeling is being alive. And you don't have to fear it. You just have to meet yourself in that moment and just breathe it and let it run through you, and then it's gone. And it hasn't harmed anyone. It hasn't harmed one person. We grew up, being afraid of expressing anger, or being told not to get angry. It's not acceptable. Everyone's really uncomfortable with someone who's angry. And some of those rage, well, that's totally unacceptable, totally unsociable. So that we've had this message that it's bad and it's wrong to express those feelings. And we've kind of, I think, been taught that it's part of us. It's like another arm or a leg. So it takes a lot of courage to open into that space. But it takes a lot of courage to carry that around with you day after day after day. So it's about opening up that creation energy, the power of your emotion, and feeling it channel through you, so that you bring in a new flow of creation energy through you as you express your emotion. As you're willing to meet yourself in each moment. And there's a lot of drama in the world right now, we know that. All sorts of drama through the country, through the world, and in our lives that we can get hooked into. We don't have to be part of that drama. We can be quiet in our hearts and be with ourselves in the moment, with the feeling, with the depth of the emotion, and just allow ourselves to meet it and allow it to unfold. And then open into that expansion of our heart space, that creation element of our heart, the power of that love. Let's just take a breath right now. That's it. Yeah, let's take one more breath and let go. Just letting go where you are right now with that feeling. That's it. Yeah, just feeling. And this is the heart space, the whole chest, and the heart expands beyond the physical body. This is your tool for creation of what you want, what your desires are, your heart's desire for this lifetime, right now, for your life right now. What is it that you want to channel as you align to the authentic essence of your own heart? That love. Now, we all want the love, and I know we put love up here and all the other emotions down there. But the fact is, the love is there for us to connect to. But we do need to work through some of the deeper, denser things that we have inside of ourselves and allow that liberation. But it's as you liberate yourself from some of these deep feelings, you don't have to wait long. The energy of the love comes up for you to utilize now. It's not something down the road. It's something for you to have as a tool now to utilize in your life. And you start it, it's for yourself. You see, everyone else has their own. And we all get to choose the moment we connect to that love inside our own hearts. That we start to utilize our hearts as a full receivership station. It's a receiving tool. We've limited how much we are able to receive. Our ego minds decide we can receive about this much because we're worth about this much. That self-worth energy that is locked into the heart keeps us from really opening up and receiving what it is we want for ourselves now. We have this assessment of what we're worth from the ego mind perspective. So it's about linking into the heart and being willing, as I said, to move through the level of emotion that comes up as you choose to come into your heart space. This is your receivership station. This is your receiving station right here. It is your creation element right here in the heart. So it's about choosing to align into the heart, to the essence of yourself, no matter what you find, no matter what. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I live from, here. This is my home. This is my connection. This is home base for me, and everything arises from this place within me. This is where I operate from. And if I have some dense human emotion, then when I come in here, it's going to come up. But I welcome that energy. I welcome this part of myself. It's not about being perfect, because I know that's not possible. So I welcome the feelings as they come. And I'm alive. Feeling is being alive. It's not just feeling the joy as being alive. Feeling all of me, all of those emotions that make me a human being. And there's a lot of them. I like to deal with them as I move through the world day by day. I don't like them all stacking up. I used to stack them up inside of myself. I've done that. I don't need that anymore. It creates a lot of suffering. And I want to be spontaneously in the moment with that creation energy of my love. That is where I choose to come from. And each one of you can choose the same. It's not difficult, it's just choice. You choosing to meet yourself in the moment and just celebrating the feeling that comes up, not assessing it. Just being with it in the moment, authentically, not trying to work it out and come to understand it in the mind. The mind always wants to understand everything. And in the middle of understanding everything, it shuts all the emotion down. Because the moment you go here, the ego mind goes snap. It shuts the lid. So you have to let go of that need to understand, because it's totally overrated. It just keeps you very, very limited, very, very small. And you choose to meet the emotion in the moment and start channeling the power of that emotion through you. And guess what? Your cells start to vibrate. The cells in the body begin to vibrate. Whenever you deal with any depth of emotion, whatever, that it doesn't discern good or bad, it just feels the aliveness of the emotion that's moving through you, and it starts to vibrate with light. Because you're alive. You're not walking around half dead, submerged, suppressed, depressed. You become alive, a living expression of your own creation energy and light, and that love, that quality of love. Love heals all things, it's true. Your love of yourself can heal and rejuvenate the cells of your body. That's what your love can do. It has a potential to create, to heal, and to bring you into another aspect of yourself. The love supports the human part of yourself, because you're the one who needs to love yourself. You are who you've been waiting for. Your love, that's what you've been waiting for. The vastness of that unlimited love that you are in truth. Now, the ego mind wouldn't agree, but that's okay. We know the ego mind's very limited to that third dimensional illusion. It can't go to the love, which is multidimensional. But you can bring your own love, the power of that, the beauty of that love, to yourself, to the human part that is maybe holding guilt and shame or condemning. And you can hold that human part with self-acceptance of all that each one of us are in our humanness, in our vulnerability. That is what this journey is about. I hate to tell you, we're all looking outwards. We need to be within. Everything we have, everything we need is within ourselves. And the vastness of that love, as the heart opens and expands through that emotion, is beautiful. It holds you, that human vulnerable part, and allows you to be fully alive. It melts away the energy of the fear, and we know the fear is one of the biggest illusions on this earth plane. It melts the fear away and allows you to walk on your path and come into your natural state of creation. It allows you then to open and fully receive your creation energy and receive the full love. The heart is our main tool for this lifetime, for self-resurrection. And what I love about the energy and the essence of my deep emotions, my shadow side, is that when I go into the depth of that rage or that hate, if it's there, it just brings me to another level of understanding the vulnerability I have within my human element. I celebrate that. I celebrate the depth of that emotion and the power, the force of that. Like a strong storm, you know? With the lightning and the thunder and the wind. It's exhilarating. Could be addictive. But it doesn't mean you have to just keep being that. You're not. It's just a moment in time of allowing you to glimpse yourself in a new way of being. To just lose it. It doesn't involve any other human being. It's you with the depth of your emotion. And in the moment of that emotion, you are really connected to a full truth. You're living a moment of truth because you're being that expression of yourself. And you can smile and laugh afterwards and go, whoa, that was intense. Where did that come from? You know, and you can, and it leaves, as I said, that openness of the heart. You know, after a storm, when the wind and everything, you had the wind, the rain, the hail, the lightning, the thunder, you come outside and it's just still and clean. Everything is still. And that's what happens within your heart. You're within a stillness. There's a stillness within you and a clarity, a joy, a liberation, a calmness. And you just take a breath and let go, and you just can feel the space that you have inside of yourself. And you get to appreciate yourself on another level. You get to see and glimpse that part of yourself. We often respond negatively to others' anger or rage when it's in front of us. And part of the reason of that is because we have unexpressed rage and anger inside of us, and it starts to vibrate. And you do everything you can to calm that person down, to stop and suppress their emotion. And then when you have other people who are just laughing and joyful, and you're just like, oh, I can't stand it. I just can't stand it, you know? It's just too much. They're too much. Because inside, we can't allow that. We'll have a moment, a glimpse of joy, but that's outrageous. That's just over the top. That's how our society is. It keeps us, everyone, in this space. And we are now ready to move differently. We have already begun to move differently. But it's about you consciously choosing a deeper way, a path of yourself. This is all about the path of ourselves, no one else. The path of our own passion, the path of our own creation energy. This is our design to the sacred that we are with our human part. This is our new phase that we've entered already on the earth plane, and that we can take the steps. It's self-empowerment to start another depth of introspection and action in your own life with yourself. It's so hard just to focus on yourself. The ego mind's really uncomfortable with that. It'll move you away here, move you here. But no, it's here that you need to be. Here in your own heart, connecting to the gift of your own love, your own life force, your own emotion. Know thyself. And for me, I love that it involves no other person on the planet. It's not dependent on anyone else what I choose to do here in my own heart. that I can receive the full abundance of my own creation through the love. Yes, my love goes outwards automatically, but the love is here holding me, holding that human aspect strongly. You know, and then I have my imperfect moments where I may separate for a moment, and I let go and open into that too, because there's nothing I have to be afraid of. There's no emotion that I will not meet inside of myself, that I don't condemn myself for any depth of feeling. I allow the full expression and allow the complete liberation of that emotion through. And that's what we're here to do. And we're here to support each other in that. To honor each other in that full expression of the emotion. To encourage the feeling. You know? To allow ourselves to express but open a doorway for others, but the focus must be here. And so when someone else is really angry, my focus is always here. They're doing their thing, that's great. So I'm breathing and letting go and just allowing any other remnants that may want to come up. Especially for those of us who have families where there's a lot of anger and violence. I know I had that when I was a child. And so you freeze when someone's angry. You go into a freeze if you haven't dealt with some of the fear and the energy of that childhood or that past. Maybe you had a partner who got really angry and aggressive, you know, maybe even physical. And that creates a lot of fear that needs to be felt, and the emotion needs to be felt. So you just breathe and let go as anger is being expressed, and allow a free flow of your own emotion to come forward. It might be sadness, it might be fear. It's okay to cry. It's okay to allow your emotion to flow and express, and not putting that cap on it that we have. So it's about being authentic in the moment and trusting yourself. Because you don't have to go with anyone else. It's not about what anyone else is doing. It's just about you. And then from the heart space, you work with that loving element for the creation of your own heart's desire in your life. What is it that you desire right now for yourself? Now, there's another question. It's all about yourself. Now, in the past, I would say, oh, you're so selfish. But the fact is, we need to take care of ourselves and maintain ourselves with that love and with that creation, with our heart's desire. We reflect that back to others so they can find themselves within that space. It's about honoring your creation element and making a clear choice of being here and being alive. How many of you are on the edge of that? I'm not sure if I even want to be here. And if that's your scenario, then you can't make a choice because you're always on the fence half doing it. And so you never ever really open to receive. You never ever step forward with yourself and be with you. You're always on the edge when you have that. And I know it's a common thing for people to be on that. You know what, there's too much pain here. Well, no, there's too much pain inside of you. That's the truth. Because the fact is, if you're bothered by the pain in others, you're holding it inside yourself. It's you that is holding the pain. When you start to work with that, guess what? You can witness others having their experience of their emotion or their pain and know they're doing exactly what they need to do for their experience. And you can let them have that, as we should. Because each one of us chooses the moment to change, to stop the suffering. We get to choose when the suffering ends. We get to choose when we meet the deep emotions within ourselves that create that suffering. And then we get to receive our own love. This is the time for us, each one of us, to take stock and to meet it honestly in ourselves. Be authentic. Okay, I can't meet that right now. Okay, so what can you meet? What part that you're holding inside can you allow yourself just to authentically meet? You know, that's being authentic too. You start with one step towards yourself, towards that emotion. One step, one moment. I allow one moment right now for me to feel the depth of this anger. Sometimes the anger feels so bad you feel like it'll never come to an end. Get a piece of it. Give yourself 3 minutes just to feel an element of that anger, an element of the betrayal, and breathe and let go. That's enough. You're enough. In each moment that we choose to do that, it's accumulative. It's accumulative, and you begin to have your road back home to yourself, to your heart. That's what this is about. This is about you on your own journey, not measuring it. The ego mind will say, oh, there's too much there, don't even bother. It's too much, too hard. No, one moment only of meeting yourself. Making a choice, choosing a moment of not swallowing it down, but saying, okay, this is the moment. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to bring my awareness into that anger, and I'm just going to breathe and just let it have a moment to express through me. That's it. One step at a time. One moment at a time. And how many moments are there in a day? One moment a day. Give yourself the gift of that authentic emotion for you. Moving back towards you, towards your heart. You are your heart. This is the sacred time for all of us. And the Pleiadians, the spiritual realms, the universal community is holding an energetic space for us on this planet to do just that, to come home to that authentic part of our emotional selves, of our heart. So I'm going to hold the platform for everyone here. I can feel the essence of your love. I can see the jewel of each one of you here. That's part of my gift. And each one of you touch me deeply in the heart. So I just wish to honor each one of you and all that you are in this moment. So be it. Thank you, everyone.
Well, this is one of my newest songs that I've written, and feels totally right to play this for you today. Uses the metaphor of the ocean, which I always feel water is a lot of emotion, and the ocean is so vast, and the waves are perhaps those emotions. You know, the ocean doesn't try and shut down its waves, right? So. I'm going to the ocean. stillness of the ocean. In the stillness of the sea. Comes the sound of all hearts beating in creation. Comes the symphony of all hearts in every galaxy. Welcome to sing this part with me.
Akoshata I She'om Be'ine A She'om. Just opening up to the energy of the blessing for all of us to receive. Shatai She'om Be'ine Ah She'om She'o She'o. So be it. Thank you, everyone.